We're just going to be breaking down UFC 200 with Conor McGregor versus not Frankie, not Aldo, but Nate Diaz for a second time. So I don't know what to say. The article's in the description box below this video. Conor McGregor should be fighting Frank Yeager, and the reason why they don't want him to fight Frank Yeager because Frank Yeager is a beast of a wrestler, and they're constantly saying, well, Frankie is a great fighter, but it should be Jose Aldo. No, it shouldn't be. It should be Conor McGregor defending his title at UFC 200 versus Frankie. Frank deserves the fight. I kept saying this. A lot of people keep saying this, and at the end of the day, give him the damn fight that he deserves. We don't want to see Conor. Yes, Conor McGregor technically was winning the UFC 196 fight until he gassed out. We understand that. But they're thinking, well, if it's going to be at, what is it going to be, 155, 170? If it's at 170 again, we will see the same thing happen again. If it's at 155, we'll see the thing happen. Me, I'm just not too keen on this UFC 200 fight card. You know, they say, what is it going to be, Frank Yeager versus Jose Aldo now? That's stupid. It should be Frankie Edgar versus Conor McGregor for the UFC featherweight title. That's what it should be. You shouldn't have Frank waiting around and people like Tyron Woodley, who deserve a title fight, waiting around because they're never going to give them a stinking title fight. That is pathetic. You know, I'm a dude who thinks that Conor McGregor is one of the best fighters of all time. He talks trash. He beats people up, knocks them out in the first round, and that's what he does. They go in there getting ready to fight, and they fall. And is it going to be the same thing if Conor gets to the ground and Nate taps him out? What is the world going to say? Give Frankie the title fight. Give Frankie the title fight. I don't want to see Nate Diaz versus Conor too. I don't think that it deserves an automatic rematch. I think the champion should go back and defend his title. Even he said that at the press conference. He goes, well, I think Nate Diaz should be fighting Rafael dos Anjos for the title, and I'll go back down and defend my title against either Frankie or Aldo. And now they're saying, no, it's not going to be either Frankie or Aldo. It's going to be Nate Diaz versus Conor McGregor 2. Are you guys pumped for that fight, or are you not? I mean, the fight was pretty good. I was really excited for the fight, but I don't really want to see rematches. Rematches, to me, are boring. You know, you're seeing the same fighter doing it. I can understand if it was like Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz for a title fight, then give Nate Diaz a title fight, because Nate Diaz deserves a title fight. But when you're sitting there going, well, Frankie's not even in the picture anymore, and Jose's not even in the picture anymore, but Nate Diaz, because Nate Diaz beat Conor, we got to redeem ourselves. And the UFC is hoping for Conor to whip his ass because people don't like Nate Diaz. A lot of people in the UFC are like, nah, come on, Conor, you got to whip his ass. And if Conor wins, then they're going to probably shit on Nate Diaz and throw him to the corner like they've done before. At the end of the line, the bottom line is Nate Diaz should be fighting Rafael dos Anjos or somebody that is not Conor. Conor should be fighting somebody else, not a rematch, because rematches to me are just horrible. But that's just my opinion, and I'm going to stick to it. I think Conor versus Nate Diaz 2 is something I don't want to see. I want to see Frankie Edgar versus Conor, because I think Frankie Edgar has the ability to beat Conor McGregor, especially with his tremendously good wrestling, his heart, his cardio, and he could take a hell of a punch. He could take a punch from Gray Maynard and almost get his head knocked off. He could definitely still take a punch from Conor. I mean, Conor's a beast. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on the guy for wanting to get his rematch and to fight and to compete and to redeem his loss at 170. But at the end of the day, it comes down to what does the fans want to see? Who do the fans want to see? Does the fans really want to see Frankie whoop Conor McGregor? Does people want to see Conor McGregor beat up Nate Diaz and redeem his loss? Or do people really want to see a guy who's been whooping ass, beating BJ Penn 3 times, Charles Oliveira, beating Cub Swanson, and beating Chad Mendes? And did they say after, if it was Chad Mendes versus Frankie, whoever won that fight would get a title fight? And now they're like, oh, we didn't say that. That's not going to happen. It just makes me mad that the UFC does this all the time to a lot of fighters who deserve a title fight. They wash them under the ground because maybe they're not popular. I think Frankie is a very exciting and popular fighter, and he's been campaigning on Twitter and Facebook saying, "Give me the freaking title, give me the title fight. The fans want to see it. Give me the title fight." Is it the same thing with Chris Cyborg versus Ronda Rousey? They would never do the fight because they knew Ronda Rousey would get beat up by Chris Cyborg. Is it the same thing? They know if Frankie versus Conor happens, Frankie will beat Conor, and then it will ruin his career as a fighter because he'll go down to 145 and lose, and then there's really nothing left for Conor because he's already lost at 170. So what's next for him to go to 155? And if he loses there, then his career is done. His whole trash talking is done. His aura being the most dominated man in the business is gone. That's what I think. I think it's the same thing. They're scared. They're scared of a high-level wrestler being able to take him down at will and grounding and pounding the shit out of him. If Chad Mendes was able to do it and take him down after only being in training camp for like a week and still take him down and basically dominate the fight when he was on the ground, I believe Frankie will do it and Frankie will win. So as always, remember to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button. Let me know, is Frankie Edgar versus Conor the fight you guys want to see, or do you guys want to see the 209 beating the shit out of Conor McGregor again? I don't want to see part 2. I want to see Frankie versus him, and I want to see Nate Diaz getting the title fight that he deserves. He deserves a title fight after beating this guy. Or what they should do is just give the 145 title to Nate Diaz and say the featherweight title will be a fight between featherweight contender Nate Diaz and featherweight champion Conor McGregor. That's what the fight should be. But I got this article from MMAfighting.com. Click the first links in the description box. It'll take you so you can read more about it. But I'm just fed up with all these automatic rematches, and I'm fed up with the UFC not giving the fights that people want. I mean, yes, the Nate Diaz versus Conor fight was something people wanted to see. But at the end of the day, people want to see Frankie